for joining us today. Truly grateful and honored and humbled to be the head football coach at the University of Missouri. It's truly a blessing to have an opportunity to coach here, to represent this great state, to coach this great game of football, and to have such an impactful position here as the head football coach at the University of Missouri. And just like to thank Dr. Choi and Jim Sturck for believing in me, and the Board of Curators for giving us this opportunity. This past 6 months has been unprecedented. That's really the only way I can describe it, with all the different things that have happened. But I'm very proud of our team. They've taught me so much about just perseverance and mental toughness and adapting. And I'm excited to be their football coach and excited about what we can be as a football team together. I have no idea what the future is going to hold for college football. Every day it seems like the information is changing, but I'm excited about the stance that Greg Sankey and our leadership in the SEC. I'm grateful to the leadership of the ACC and the Big 12 for allowing us to continue to pursue the plans to have a 2020 season. There's going to be a lot of challenges ahead. I don't think we're all the way through all of them, but we're doing everything we possibly can to try to make this season successful, and we're continuing to do that. And our team has been tremendous in doing those things. Would like to, say thank you to our strength staff. Zach Woodfin has been unbelievable about adjusting, adapting, altering plans, making sure that we work out with safe social distancing. Owen Stanley has been great about adapting the CDC guidelines, local Boone County health guidelines, to make sure that our players are safe, that we practice safe social distancing, that we wear masks, that we monitor symptoms, that we make sure we're always 6 feet apart when we're working out. And it's been awesome to see our administration give us everything that we need in order to be successful and try to fight COVID and protect our players and our coaches and everyone within our organization. Through mandated testing, surveillance testing, symptom testing, throughout our program, we are less than a 3% positivity rate for COVID-19 within our team. The state of Missouri currently on a 7-day average is at 11.9%, and Boone County is currently at a 9%. So we are well below both local and state positivity rates, and that's a tribute to both our players, our staff, and I'm not bragging about that. Obviously, knock on wood. New Zealand was bragging about 100 days, and that didn't turn out real well for them. So I'm not bragging. I do want just the information and accurate information to be out there about our program and about what we're going through, and that is information that we felt comfortable releasing. As far as a roster update, I'd just like to getting ready for fall camp. Just update our roster. We added 4 graduate transfers, which y'all have known about, but want to confirm: Damon Hazelton, Kiki Chisholm, Michael Mayetti, and Grant McKinnis. We are excited about those guys and believe that all of them were positions that we needed to add competitive depth at, and we're excited about them joining our football team. When we signed in February, we had our signing day. We intentionally and strategically left spots open to bring in graduate transfers to strengthen our team this year. And we said that there would be late additions, and we had one just recently with Zeke Powell, an offensive lineman from a junior college that we brought in to continue to add depth and competition at the offensive line room. We've lost 4 players via transfer portal, and we wish those guys well. Cam Scott, Anthony Watkins, Antar Thompson, and Kamari Thompson are no longer a part of our program. We wish them well in all their future endeavors moving forward. From an injury standpoint, Angel Matute has been taken a medical red shirt, and he had an injury that disqualified him from continuing his pursuit of a college football career. He will graduate in the spring, and he is still an active part of our team as a student coach and doing everything he can to help us in our season in 2020. Jatorian Hansford has had a shoulder surgery this summer, and we do not know the timetable on his return, but he will be out for fall camp. And Mitchell Walters has a broken lower extremity, and he will be out for the remainder of fall camp. So with that's the update. And at that point, unless there's anything else, I'll open it up for questions.
First question, guys, comes from Peter Baugh from The Athletic. Peter, you can go ahead. Hi, Eli. You've talked in the past about how you can do everything right with this virus and still catch it. What's kind of your level of concern with, I guess, the rest of the student population coming back and more, I guess, opportunity for students to come into contact with people who are COVID positive?
Um, I mean, you can attack this thing one of two ways. You can be fear of all the unknowns, or you can do control what you can control, which is practice safe social distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't put yourself in gatherings of large indoor gatherings, and monitor who you're surrounded by. And if you do that, then you should be, that's as much protection as you can give. You can't control everybody else, and so that's my message to our team has been the same message that as we continue to learn more information is you control what you can control. If you go out to said local establishments, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus on Friday night, then you're going to put yourself and our team in jeopardy. But if you can avoid those places, then you got an opportunity to be successful. I mean, again, this virus is unknown as far as all the different ways that you can contract it. I vividly remember in March going to the super center and coming back because on NBC News, they told you that you had to wipe everything down and you had to have Clorox bleach and you had to wipe it and then you had to go wash your hands and we were doing all that stuff. And then 3 months ago, it says CDC says it doesn't transmit on surfaces. And now New Zealand's saying that they think they got the virus from a cold storage unit. So, I mean, look, we don't know. We do know that masks work. We know that from the Springfield, Missouri incident with the barber shop, with a hairstylist. So that's what we lean into what we know and don't worry about what we don't know.
Mm-hmm. And then
next question comes from Dave Matter from the Columbia Daily Tribune. Peter, we'll get you back in the queue on the back end.
Columbia Daily Tribune. That was like 8 years ago.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That was a Freudian. Sorry. St. Louis Post.
You're fine. You're good. That's okay. Eli, what was Monday and Tuesday like for you? How did you kind of process the news and while at the same time taking care of your team and your program and moving forward?
The best advice I gave our team and our coaches is to put your cell phones away and get off social media. And when there's information that needs to be given to you, you'll get it straight from me. Sunday night, there was a lot of that's when the first anonymous sources started stirring up all the trouble, or the mob, as you will, that things were going to happen. And it causes a lot of mental angst and stress that you don't need to worry about. Monday for us was an off day for our team. Yesterday was our first day of acclimation to fall camp, and we had tremendous weight. We had weights, we had conditioning, we had walkthroughs, we had meetings. And I told our team and conducted a Zoom call with our team yesterday, even as the Big Ten and the Pac-12 canceled, and said, control what you can control. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. But to spend a lot of time chasing down, information in 141 characters with unnamed sources, it's gonna stress you out.
Next question comes from Mitchell 40 from Power Mizzou. Mitch, go ahead.
Hey, Eli. As we get ready to get into camp practices, I'm curious how between local and CDC recommendations and then the protocols that the Power Five put out a while ago, how would practices look different right now? Are you able to do things like contact? Are you able to get full position groups into meetings at a time? How do you have to adapt?
So, obviously the information changes all the time, but we operate with face masks on while we're in the building, or masks on while we're in the building. We operate with everyone has a minimum of 6 feet social distance within a meeting room. And if you're in a meeting room that can't be observed at, then you got to go to a bigger meeting room. If you're going to be in a room like that, we have a team meeting. It has to be for 15 minutes or less with everybody with the masks on. We've been able to do that. The past 2 weeks, they gave us a 20-hour rule, and we were able to have meetings and walkthroughs and strength and conditioning time, and we were able to do all of that practicing social distances. As far as our walkthrough goes, we have those gaiters on. If your helmet's not on, your gaiters on. If your helmet's on, then they have those mandated face shields that cover your face. And we were able to line up in formations against each other and go against each other, and had 0 cases of transmission. I would tell you, again, I'm not bragging. Obviously, this stuff can change all the time, but we have not had cases of transmission within our program where anything has been contact traced to this person caught it within the confines of our building or within something we've done. It's all been outside of the building in some sort of manner, whether it was a social setting or something else. So, we're doing the very best we can. I don't think it's realistic to say that there will be 0 transmissions of COVID. Again, I only point to what I know and what I've read. New Zealand was clean for 102 days and now has 4, and so there's going to be cases, but our guys have had world-class care with MU Health. They've been taken care of. Their parents have been in the loop. We've all been in the loop. We've monitored when they've come back. We've done EKG testing. We've done blood work testing to make sure that these guys are safe, and we've been very fortunate so far.
Next question comes from Andrew, no last name, which I'm assuming is Andrew Kaufman. So, Andrew, go ahead.
Yep, I believe that's probably me. Coach, with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten not playing, are those players that you can actively go after and recruit? Is that possible to bring any of those guys on?
Not that I know of. No, I mean, you can't actively recruit anybody else on anybody's roster. If they put their name in the transfer portal, that's the only way that you can have any type of contact with somebody on another team. So, I would like to say, I feel sorry, and my heart goes out to the coaches and players and fans of the Big Ten and the Pac-12. There was such a rush and such emotion yesterday about, it, and everybody wants to comment on Twitter about, the cancellation of those guys' season. And then today, all those social media warriors have moved on to something else. And those players and coaches and people who are invested in those programs are left picking up the pieces right now on what they're going to do. And it's just, my heart goes out to them. I go out to the coaching staff and the players, and just it's a hard deal to have, college football taken from you, even if it's pushed back for a time. These young men work so hard for these opportunities, and to not have them, it's tough. And I feel for those guys. I feel for those players. I feel for those coaches, and some of the loudest people that were, calling for that to happen. Today they're on to some other topic.
But just to clarify, if they do enter the transfer portal, is that possible to bring someone on this late from one of those schools if they were to enter the transfer portal? Would you guys be open to that?
What do you know, Andrew? What are you trying to get at, buddy?
I'm just curious.
Well, here's the deal. Right now we're currently under NCAA sanctions. We're allowed 81 scholarships. We're dealing with still dealing with massive sanctions right now. In fact, I haven't had contact with any recruit in the last 7 days, going through one of our 7 weeks of quiet, no contact in recruiting. And so, right now that would not be a possibility for us, even if somebody wanted to transfer, unless they were willing to walk on. But you're talking about a hypothetical that I can't answer. So I believe we have 3 slots left that we could potentially sign in the 2020 class. So you're talking about we would have a number for 3 spots, but we don't have any scholarships left. People aren't in the portal, so there'd be a lot of hoops to jump through. Is it possible? It's possible, yes. Is it plausible? Probably not.
All right, next question comes from Gabe DeArmond from Power Mizzou. Gabe, go ahead.
Eli, with these guys, went through about 3 months kind of without the structure that maybe they've always had. How much of a concern, I guess, right when they came back was conditioning and, these kids being at the level they're normally in the summer? And then how concerned are you about getting guys in game shape, because it's been a little bit different the last few months?
All the above. I mean, there's been such a, obviously it was voluntary. We had great attendance during voluntary from people that were here, but you also had the people that were in quarantine for 14 days or contact traced for 14 days. So you had some people that were here, some people that were pulled out for 14 days, some people that were pulled out for 10 days, some people that went out of town for the weekend, so they had to miss 5 days. And so, again, that's why I said thanks to Zach. He did an outstanding job of getting these guys into some sort of shape. Are we where we would normally be? No, absolutely not. I'm extremely concerned, and I've told everybody they have to be ready. Okay, they have to be ready. We're fixing to play a 10-game SEC schedule. We're only going to get 25 practices over the next 40-something days. Andrew probably knows the exact number, but I think it's 45 days. And so there's not going to be a lot of back-to-back and conditioning. We got to give them 2 days off a week. So it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of shape and nobody's ever done this before. Nobody's played 10 SEC games before. So it's going to be a battle of wills. But I like our team. I like the flexibility they've shown. I like the mental fortitude they've shown. So we'll be up to the challenge. But there's some unknowns there, Gabe.
Next question comes from Colin O'Brien from Jeff City. Colin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned not bragging about the test results inside your building, and I don't want to get into the fearing the unknown too much, but is there a certain level of positive test results within the building, within the program, that is considered an outbreak that would then cause you to suspend the season? Like, do you know what that hard and fast number is, or is it just completely played by ear?
Yeah, it's definitely not played by ear. It's played by experts. It's played by Dr. Witt, who's the leading epidemiologist for the state of Missouri, who has been our medical task force liaison to the SEC task force, who's guiding not only our response, but MU's response, MU Health's response, led also with Dr. Bohan, our team physician. So it's up to them. It's not up to me. It has nothing to do with me. It would have to do with Boone County Health. We've submitted all of our guidance to Dr. Witt. He's been in charge, and Dr. Henderson have been in charge of our repopulation committee and for the athletic department and how we're coming back. We've been in contact. I was in contact with Dr. Witt on Monday on just about everything that's going on. And so I submit to his authority, and our plan that's in place has been endorsed by him. And I thank him for his leadership and his guidance through this whole thing. But I don't have calling a hard and fast number that says if we get to this, we can't do this or that. I think that would be up to the administration and to health experts. I'm a football coach.
Next question comes from Harold Kuntz. Harold, go ahead.
Hey, Eli, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I know you've kind of talked a little bit about this, but when it comes to hearing that news from the Big Ten and the Pac-12 that they're not playing yesterday, and then they're all going toward different medical advice, does it kind of concern you as a head coach when you're hearing different areas and different regions and different medical people all saying different advice? And does that make you kind of concerned about your the advice you're getting going forward or anything of that nature?
No. I trust my doctors. I trust MU Health. I think, when you're talking about doctors, I mean, we've all gotten second opinions on things. If somebody goes to this doctor and doesn't like that opinion or wants a different form of treatment, they go to another one. That's actually very common from what I understand about medicine. You can get different doctors to do different surgeries on any type of thing. You've got different doctors who treat different diseases. Again, I think Dr. Witt's one of the best in the world. And I know he's one of the best in the state of Missouri. I feel very confident in the information. I've been on calls with leading epidemiologists in the country I've been on calls with leading cardiologists in the country. I've been on calls with local doctors who I feel very confident in the information that we've gotten. I feel very confident in our plan. I feel very comfortable with the way that we're doing our testing, tracing. I feel very comfortable with the information we're putting. Look, nothing in life is zero risk. Nothing in life is zero risk. And so I understand that. Our team understands that. I've told our team several times, I have your back. If you tell me you want to opt out, I have your back. If you tell me you want to play, I have your back. That's my job. And so whatever they want to do, whatever they feel comfortable doing is what we're going to do. And it's an individual choice. Individual choice. The players that are here have said that they want to play and they feel comfortable and they feel confident. I shouldn't even say comfortable. They feel confident in the plans that we have in place and the information that we're giving them and in the testing and the protocols and the things we're doing. And I'm not unsympathetic to the fact that there's risks. I've got 3 daughters of my own that are going back to school in August. And I had to choose whether or not I was going to send them to in-person classes or online. And I totally understand the risk. I understand how challenging that is. And I had to make a choice along with my wife on what we were going to do. And we made that choice, and we're comfortable with that choice, and we'll continue to move forward. And so everybody has to make choices in life. And for us, our choice is faith, not fear, hope, not worry. And that's what we're moving forward with for me and my family personally. And again, for our football team, I've got their back. If somebody doesn't feel comfortable, wants to opt out, they are still part of this football team, and we will make sure that they're well taken care of mentally and physically. And if they do want to play football, then we're going to say they're a part of our football team. We're going to take care of them mentally and physically.
Another question for you quickly with the schedule. I know when it came out, you see Alabama and LSU. You kind of embraced that challenge?
I chose to play – I chose to coach in the SEC because I wanted to coach against the best. And, you know, everybody's caught up in Alabama, LSU. Well, the other 3 options are pretty stinking good football teams too. So, I mean, it ain't like you're going to dodge somebody, you know. I mean, I guess we could have picked a Pac-12 or a Big Ten team and not had anybody, you know, play. So, crud, I mean, we played a really good football team. Those 2 teams are really good. They got great coaches, great players. They've been in the playoff. It's a great challenge for our players and our team, and we accept that challenge. Again, like I said, I chose to coach at Mizzou because I wanted to coach against the best, challenge myself against the best, and our players chose to play in the SEC and play at Mizzou because they wanted that same challenge. And so, crud, yeah, embrace it. What else you going to do, man?
Next one comes from Dave Matter from the St. Louis Post. Dave, go ahead.
Eli, I know this is all unprecedented. We've never had a season like this, but is it bad? Is it unhealthy for college football that it's August 10th and we've got 3 conferences that are ready to go and wanting to move forward and 2 that are out, and we have no idea if there's going to be spring football for those conferences, or there's just the discord, the disunity, the no organization. How do you view that as someone with a central role in college football?
You know, honestly, Dave, I hadn't put a whole lot of thought into it because I got a job to do here at Mizzou, and I've got, you know, dadgum near 200 people in my organization with players and trainers and managers and coaches and recruiting departments that I'm in charge of. And I'm trying to just make sure that we're taken care of on a day-to-day basis and haven't had a whole lot of time to think big picture. You know, I don't know. I did say the other day in a radio interview that the SEC is the leaders in college football for a reason. And I think Greg Sankey has done an outstanding job of providing steady leadership. He's put a plan in place. He's not wavered from that plan. He said that he was always going to take his time in making decisions. He was deliberate in backing the season up to the 26th to see if a spike would occur when students returned to campus, and would we be able to navigate through that spike and continue to play football. He's been adamant in saying that, you know, he doesn't believe the virus is going anywhere, and so it wasn't a matter of being able to necessarily postpone to the spring, and not sure why that would be better. that entails a whole lot of other issues because of the NFL and all that kind of stuff. So, I respect what Greg Sankey's done. I respect the leadership of our administration here. And I'll say the rest of the SEC coaches have done an outstanding job of being on the same page, implementing the things that they've been asked to do from our conference in order to give us the best possible opportunity to play. Would it benefit us if there was one singular voice for the entire college football world? Y'all are trying to get me on Twitter on that one, so I don't know if I want to say that one way or the other. But I will say I'm extremely proud of Greg Sankey. I'm proud to be associated with the SEC, and I'm proud of the way that they've handled this situation, regardless of how it turns out. I can't believe we're looking at our watch on August 12th, and we've got people that are saying we're not playing football on September 26th. I mean, that's like the St. Louis Cardinals canceling the doubleheader on Sunday because it's forecasted to rain, and we're talking about it being on Wednesday. I mean, that's just crazy to me. But I'm a football coach, so I don't know. I'm a football coach. Does that answer your question, Dave? Did that get me in trouble or no? Did you get me in trouble or no? Yeah? Okay.
No.
Next one comes from Eric Blum from the Columbia Daily Tribune. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah. Coach, there's obviously a lot of people in the organization that aren't student athletes. Is there any extra type of provisions you're providing for people who are a little older, whether it be staff members, coaches, who might be a little more prone to the disease other than just the basic testing you're doing for student athletes?
Everybody within our organization is required to go through the same testing protocols every single day as far as symptom checks, temperatures. We take a pulse ox level, wear masks within the building, do our surveillance testing. We do our everyday testing and responsible to the SEC. There's not any more specific guidelines than those that we're doing. I haven't seen an opt-out clause for coaches. So I don't necessarily think they got the ability to opt out. But we do, I know that the university has said that if there's anybody that feels uncomfortable with their working environment and we can make it safe to work at home, then we absolutely give them that opportunity to do that.
All right, next one comes from Suichi Terada from the KC Star. Go ahead.
Hey, Eli, I know you mentioned the recruiting restrictions. Besides the obvious forced scholarship, I guess, what else are you dealing with right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's that's been one of the biggest challenges. I know that we've gotten a lot of publicity for how well we're recruiting, but it really has been a challenge to continue to face NCAA restrictions. We've got a 7-week zero contact, and we've been working through those. But that's an extreme challenge when the only way that you can communicate with recruits is through we can't mail them anything, we can't text, we can't call, we can't have contact with anybody, and that's been an extreme challenge. We've got a limited number of evaluations that we can have this fall. We've got a limited number of official visits that we can have. We're down 81 scholarships compared to what normally would be 85 to tackle this SEC 10-game schedule. So we got some real challenges the NCAA's handed out, but we'll keep tackling them.
Next one comes from Max Baker, and I think we're running a little bit short on time, so we'll do one more after Max. So
this is our pre-fall camp press conference. They might not see me in one of these.
Coach, I was just wondering how Connor Bazelak was doing, and if you think he'll be ready for sort of game action in late September, and just an update on his status so far.
Yeah, Connor's doing well. He's picking up the offense well. His knee's fully healed. He's 100% participatory in walkthroughs practice, and excited about his opportunity to compete for the starting job.
All right, next one comes from Common. Common, go ahead.
Coach, you talked about this a little bit earlier, but just generally, how is the morale? And you mentioned no one has chosen to opt out. I mean, how much does the team and how much do you guys want to play this football season, and how much would it mean to your program?
The morale's been good. I think there's been the uncertainty, which is not good for the mental health of 18 to 22-year-olds. It's not good for the mental health of the head football coach either. And so, that's been a real challenge. But the morale when we're between those white lines, when we're out there lifting weights, as long as we're not near our cell phones, our energy and excitement is really good. As far as the opt-out, there's no date on when somebody can decide to opt out. And so, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. There's going to be 0 opt-outs on our football team. As of today, there hasn't been any. That doesn't mean there won't be any in the future. That is, again, is something that those young men can decide. And when they decide, if that's what them and their parents and or advisors say is what's best for them, then I have their back in that. So, but morale's good, and we're excited to get ready for fall camp. Like I said, we're acclimating towards that right now, and we look forward to Monday being our first day in helmets and one of our 25 practices to get ready for the season.
All right, we got one more from Peter and then one more from Gabe. So, Peter, go ahead. I told you we'd circle back.
Thanks, Sean. Eli, I was wondering, have you had, I guess, any conversation? I know no one's opted out yet, you said, but have you had many conversations with players who have considered it at all, or is that something that's weighing on anyone on the team? I know you aren't going to say specific names, but is that just the conversations you've had?
I've had conversations with the entire team, whether it's in a team meeting or position coaches have had personal conversations with every single player. I've had follow-up conversations with a lot of players on our football team regarding this situation. What our conversations are about are personal and private and not for public consumption. But we are a team that is in constant discussions of everything that's going on in this world. And it would be completely crazy for me to say that nobody has considered all the different things that are put out on social media, good, bad, or indifferent, and not had questions about them. But we've had doctors, director of student health, our local doctor, our trainer, meet in person, be on Zoom calls with them, let them ask questions. We've had mental health experts get on the phone, talk with them. We've had different people get on and share, different stories and perspectives about life and what's going on, and trying to, educate our guys.
Thanks, Eli.
All right, Gabe, you'd save the best for last. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. Have you guys had to make any changes, whether it's in meetings or even something simple like living situations, roommates to adjust for? I would imagine like you don't want all 3 of your quarterbacks spending a ton of time together maybe during the season, or like your 3 starting wide receivers all living together. Is that something you anticipate addressing?
No. I don't know who my 3 starting wide receivers are, so for them to be living together, the reality of this is these are college athletes that we're not able to bubble them. All right. We had conversations about putting everybody in a hotel for fall camp. But again, you can do everything right as the 118 players on the team, but somebody else could spread the virus to you that was unknown, that was, somebody walking in the hotel and sneezed or whatever. So, to sit there and try to play the what if game just is a wary, it will wear us out mentally. So again, what we can do is what we know to do, which is wear masks, practice safe social distancing. Again, when we meet as the quarterbacks, we meet in a large space that everybody has more than 6 feet in a room that has good ventilation. We're all wearing our mask on, and should not be contact traced via CDC guidelines or Boone County Health guidelines. And so those are the things that we're doing, Gabe. We have not got into, hey, this guy can't live with this guy. We're not doing all that. If somebody does test positive, then we have been able to isolate them and quarantine them. And the same with those roommates. We've been able to isolate them and get those guys in a position where they're fine. We deliver them meals, monitor them, make sure that they take their pulse ox and temperature, and report any symptoms, and make sure that they're well taken care of. So I feel confident in the plan in place, but we have not tried to create a bubble scenario, because the problem with the bubble is, if somebody leaves and goes and gets lemon pepper wings at a particular establishment, could ruin the whole bubble.
All right, that seems like a pretty good note to end it on. So thanks, Coach. We'll let Coach go. Just so everybody's aware, I'll send out the fall camp coverage plan here in the next 2 or 3 hours. So,
Sean,
thanks.
can I make one more statement?
Of course you can.
Guys, I look forward to the day when y'all ask me questions about our football team, specifically about, who's going to play quarterback, who's been really good at O-line, what are we going to do at left tackle and right tackle, how nervous are we considering we're going to play, 10 SEC opponents, and can our D-line hold up? How do we feel about our linebacker core? Who's really stepped up at the Mike linebacker position? Who's going to take this spot in that role? That would be awesome. So with that being said, next time, hopefully, we'll talk about some football. God bless, boys.